Um, Congrats to Mark having his team ready to play. The one thing about playing against his teams, even when he was at Stephen F. Austin, they always came prepared to play. And their 1, 2, and 3 players were better than our 1, 2, and 3 players tonight. Um, we had I don't know what happened at the beginning of the game with the sense of urgency with us, but something that we got to fix, and we'll take care of it when we get back. But can't take anything away from West Virginia. They played a really good game tonight.
Do you have any questions for Coach?
Coach, you say didn't really know what had happened in the first quarter, but it seemed like they were kind of imposing their will. How difficult is it to, I guess, not have your girls hanging their heads and try to stay with it when you don't score for the first 10 minutes?
Yeah, the thing about it, they're number 1 in the country at forcing turnovers. We're like number 3. So we both force 24, 25 turnovers a game. So we know what that feels like doing it to other people. I still think at the end of the game, we forced 21, they had 22. So again, we've had stretches where we've been through that before. So we know what it's like. We practice that way. So we should have made the adjustment mentally and, with your mental toughness and be able to say we got some resilience to be able to come back and be able to get some baskets. But again, when Layla Blair got in foul trouble, she's our go-to player, and now you're looking around and trying to figure it out just for a second. Again, when I looked at them and looked in their faces, just trying to figure it out too. Again, we've put people through that. The last 2 games, we forced 50 turnovers. And so, again, we came in expecting to be able to do that today. But, yeah, it's really tough when you get down like that because, again, it wasn't, no long spurts or anything. I mean, like at the media, it was like 9-0, so it wasn't nothing huge. You just need to buckle down, get a basket, and get things going. And, we just didn't do that. It's not like it was 25-0 at the first quarter. It was just 16, 17, something like that. We've come back from that before. So I'm waiting for them to kick that in, and unfortunately it didn't happen for us.
Coach, with Blair, how do you balance, you don't want her to get that third foul, but you've got to get something going at some point.
Exactly. As a coach, you start to go through your head. If you can get on the run to get a few baskets, then you can get her back in the game. Hopefully she can add to that. You don't want her to come in with the fouls and still trying to be able to force the issue because, again, and Martin were really smart. They went at her on post-ups. They went at her on ISO plays, and we tried to bring some people to help, and it opens up the door for another pass or another skip and another shot where if they didn't make the shot, they had an offensive rebound advantage because we had 2 to the ball trying to help her out. So it's tough. It's tough to try to play them with fouls like that. Sometimes you can trust them, sometimes you can't.
You mentioned you've played against Mark's teams before. Is there something different that he's able to do now that he's here with maybe a little bit better athletes than what he had at Stephen F. Austin, especially defensively?
That's all it is. It's the Jimmys and the Joes. Yeah, that's the thing about the Big 12. The number 1 advice I got coming into the league from the American, and I talked to some men's coaches in the Big 12 when we were up in New York. And the first thing they said was, it's about the Jimmys and the Joes each and every night, and it's going to be unwavering. So you got to be able to come and play your A game every night, or you're going to turn around and have nights like this. But that's the difference. In the American, we were, a little bit more talented. We had a little bit more size, and then we were dominant with our pressing style on some games and some teams, and we can be able to force the issue and not even shoot it well on certain nights, but just be able to turn it over and still beat people. That's not happening in the Big 12, and that's the thing we have to adjust to.
You said nights like this, obviously offense goes cold, can't really score the ball. How do you prepare for that to keep that from happening the next game and not carrying over night after night?
Yeah, it's happening to us on the road. So at home, we're playing well, scoring over 70 points a game, winning. We just lost the 1 to Texas Tech, but, it's just on the road. So we got to figure that out, what it is on the road, why we're having slow starts on the road to be able to get it going. So I don't know if it's sleeping too much. I don't know if it's early shoot around. I don't know if it's, the meal, but I got to evaluate and look at it all. We had good practices before we came here, so again, really intense and, anticipated everything and just didn't make shots like we needed to. But again, that's on me to be able to figure that out, but it's happening on the road every time.
Coach, you guys forced 21 turnovers. I'm sure you can draw that up as maybe a moral win, but were you surprised you guys couldn't, maybe turn more of those turnovers into points?
Very surprised, very surprised. It's the one thing I talked about in the locker room. We had opportunities after those turnovers to be able to get some layups and get some kick-out threes and things like that, and we didn't share the ball enough and we didn't attack the rim hard enough. I think we were expecting calls that we didn't get. So, again, some of those things we should have had opportunity to turn into points.
Any more questions? Thanks, Coach.